baby, I work.
My name is Alex Thomas, and I was a Soul Train dancer from 1985 to 1990.
I should overcome, I get the job done. I work. I get the job done. I work, baby, I work.
South Central LA, born and raised. But we moved to the West Side by, junior high school. And that's when it was like Pico, La Brea, Fairfax, John Burroughs, the West Side. I went to Fairfax High School. And by the time I got to high school, I made a little name for myself in LA. Hip hop in LA was new. The NWA hadn't been around yet. You know what I mean? We're talking like when it was just Toddy T, Rodney O, Joe Cooley, Ice-T, the Battle Ram. That little small pocket of 83 to 85, when I was really finding myself as a dancer in the LA streets, it was either you were a breakdancer, you were a pop locker, or there was this little scene. And that little scene was the trendy scene. And that's what I was a part of in LA. Ultra Wave was basically all of us wannabe party people that were under 21. So we weren't old enough to go to Uncle Jam's army. Ultra Wave was a huge scene in LA from 85 to kind of like 88, where all of us were able to go to clubs, and that's where we kind of found our style. And I was in a hood-famous, LA-famous dance group, and we were called the Romeos. We were the dopest dancers in LA, period, hands down. It was a scene that was really dope, and a lot of us, rest in peace to G-Money, who had just passed. Shout out to General Lee. He was the one that DJ at Ultra Wave every week. A lot of people like the good girls, DeMonica and all those girls, and Joyce and all those girls came out of it. We all kind of came from that LA dance scene, which kind of led to how I got on Soul Train. Little did I know, when you're making a name for yourself and people just kind of know who you are, people are like, yo, that dude is really, really dope. You ever wanted to be on Soul Train? I'm like, hell yeah, I'd love to be on Soul Train. I've watched Soul Train my whole entire life. Just one of the homies literally hooked up with a chick, and the chick and her girls happened to be some chicks who danced on Soul Train. And they invited little old me and a couple of my homies. Y'all should come down. You dress fly. I remember it like it was yesterday. She said, just get fly, dress the way y'all do, and I guarantee you, I'm gonna get you and your boys in. We're like, okay. Eric walked out, and he looked at me and was like, okay, what's your name and who you with? I'm with these guys, who was me and 4 or 5 dudes from my group. They saw it, and the girls, they with you? They cool? All right, all you guys. We're like, yo, was that easy?
Get busy.
I remember that first day, walking into Soul Train. The first thing that just kind of blew me away is it looks so big on TV. All these years, I'm thinking it's like a stadium, like it's an arena, and you get in there, it's damn near the size of this room. On TV, growing up as a child, you would think it was 1,000 people. You get on set, you're like, it's maybe 100 people here, but it was incredible. Eric kind of had a liking for me and my boys immediately, and the chicks that we came with. He immediately gave us camera time. And that was the big thing as a Soul Train dancer. Okay, I can dance my butt off, but how can I strategically place myself? If you weren't on the risers, everybody that knows about Soul Train know about the risers. The risers was damn near saying, here's your solo, here's your one shot. Maybe after a couple of times, I was able to get on the risers, or a lot of times, in my case, me and my boys, we were so wild and crazy, it would just be more camera time focused, even though we were on the floor.
Hi, your name?
Leslie.
Hey, Leslie.
Alex.
I did the Soul Train Scrabble board with Leslie, who is Omarion's mama. The name was Frank Robinson. I'll never forget, because I was a sports fanatic. Frank Robinson was, rest in peace, one of the greatest baseball players of all time. And I just knew exactly what it was. They tell you ahead of time just about, but I was like, I knew exactly what it was. Me and Leslie did that, and that was kind of like a little highlight. I was just so excited to show up to every taping and have fun. My big thing at a young age was, who am I gonna meet this taping? I was almost like a little male groupie. let's just be real, it didn't get any bigger than Soul Train in those times. So every single superstar that had to do with R&B and black folks in our culture literally performed. And what's crazy is everybody I grew up watching on TV, everybody I grew up listening to on the radio, I got to witness them perform it up close and personal. One of the biggest things that I remember the most was looking forward to the next taping. Before I knew it, I had so many different celebrities and people's names and numbers in my little phone book. Now, I'm gonna tell you how cold-blooded I was, because this was way before phones. I'm 17, and I literally had a little black book. It had a little pencil. It was about that big, that slid right in my little book. I had that on me like it was my underwear. And my friends used to joke with me like, yeah, who number you gonna get this time? I'm like, well, let's see, last time I got the OJs, Tony, and Run DMC. Who's here this week? Okay, really? Lionel Richie? I'll have his number by the end of the show. Who else is here? Chaka Khan? Yeah, I'll probably get a home number on her. Like, that was really me. You talk to people now, and they say South Central LA, 80s. That meant Jerry curls, 3X t-shirts and khakis and Cortez, like the gangbanger kind of look. That was totally 1,000% not us. We would get teased for our look. I was wearing Doc Martens. You know, I had a relaxed flat top. You know what I mean? I was wearing brooches. Yeah, I was wearing shirts to the top. You know what I mean? It was kind of a mod look. It was just the feel of those times from 85 to 90. We were wearing the big shoulder pads in our blazers. Tapered pants with, you know, pointy shoes, and I'd have a cummerbund on. I'd do something fly with it, not the traditional way to wear a tux. It was just new at that time, but it stood out. And not till Soul Train, we finally had a platform for the world to see it.
Just bust the move.
The Soul Train Live. That was the epitome. Is like, mama, I made it. That's something we watched our whole lives. You know, now talking about going solo, talking about all lights and all eyes on you, that was your time. And that was something that obviously my whole life I watched, and I was like, wow, if that could happen one day, that'd be great. I wanna say I was going down the Soul Train line maybe 6 months after going. I'm not gonna lie, so I went on the Soul Train line right away. No, I had to make a name for myself. We all know Eric was the man to get you through the door, and he's the one that was placing people here. I need these chicks right here. These dancers come right here to this way. And I started kind of getting into the rotation. And then what happened was people started talking about my name, and it started constantly being in his ear. And I believe it was Rosie Perez. We were just sitting down at lunch one day, and she just told Eric, you know, like, yo, Eric, Alex Thomas is, you know, he be killing it on the dance floor. He's killing it. And he was like, you know, I have been seeing, he moved his little Jerry curl to the side because it was dangling over his eye. He's like, you know, this guy really is a good dancer. And the next thing I know, he's like, okay, Alex, come on in, you're in. Everything got hot. I started sweating real hard. My knees started locking. He's like, are you doing a new dance? Like, I was a little nervous, but it was time. I don't remember who was on the show, and I don't remember what song it was. All I know is I went down the Soul Train line, and I killed it. When I started realizing that, okay, I'm a dancer, but there's this comedy side of me, and people are liking that I'm making people laugh. I didn't really know where I was gonna go with it. Sometimes I would be silly going down the line. I would do characters kind of going. Now, like Otis. Anybody remember Otis? Otis would come down as a UCLA marching band outfit, but then he'd have a Chucky mask on or something. You know, and I wasn't like that. But I was just silly. I just brought a little bit more life to it. And sometimes me and the homies would go down together. We'd do little routines. You know what I mean? So the Soul Train line, man, it really helped me get like hood famous. Because now I'm getting noticed on bus stops because I didn't have a car yet. Like, I'd be at a bus stop or like on Crenshaw and Slauson. Hey, they go to Soul Train, dude. I'm like, yeah. When people started recognizing me from Soul Train, that made me go, you know what? I might have to find a way I can really start making some money in this business and just, instead of just coming down here dancing for a piece of chicken and some fame. The beautiful thing about being on Soul Train, the beautiful thing about being friends with Rosie and stuff like that, the beautiful thing about having all these contacts, I started getting invited to people's videos. And I was in a small role in We Want Easy. It's like an early NWA video. I was on tour with Hammer, and Salt and Pepper in 88, 89. Once that tour got done, I was like, okay, this is cool, this is fun, but I know there's gotta be a way to make more money than this. Rosie's in the back of my mind, her constantly saying, you should be a comedian. So what did I say? You know what? Might wanna start getting into this whole acting thing. I think I might wanna start going out on these little auditions and stuff, but just as I said that, Rosie Perez gets me a call, was like, guess what? I got a brand new show. It's called In Living Color. They're doing like sketch and comedy and all that, but I'm the choreographer. So I'm gonna be doing this stuff with the girls, and you should come down and like, let's check it out. Maybe you can help me with some of the moves, because she really respected me as a young guy from the streets with all these new dances. I'm on the set of In Living Color, in the dance hall, right? Where fly girls are now doing their little routine. I'm meeting all these chicks, you know, J-Lo and all these other people, and Keenan Ivory Wayans and Damon Wayans walk in. I knew them from like movies and seeing them on TV and stuff, but she was like, yo, Keenan, Damon, this is my boy Alex Thomas. He's gonna help me with some choreography and moves. But it just happened to be when they walked in, all the girls were on the floor dying laughing. Something I had said, something I did, and they were like, well, I didn't know if the dude was a comedian or a dancer. Y'all in here laughing. And she's like, we've been telling him he should do comedy like y'all. Damon said, so have you ever thought about doing stand-up comedy? And I was like, nah. I was like, do they make money? And Damon looked at it all. Everybody laughed at my little line. I hadn't done comedy yet. He waited for the laugh. He's like, the little dude got jokes, right? I'll never forget, he had on a Michael Jordan sweatsuit. And he went in one pocket and pulled out $30,000 cash. And then he went in his other pocket and pulled out another $30,000 cash and threw it at me. This dude made it rain in 1991. He was like, does that answer your question? He goes, I made that this weekend at the Improv. And Rosie is dying laughing. She's like, I told you they be making money, they comedians. All I know is a month and a half later, I tried stand-up. They talked me into it. And you probably know a lot of TV shows and movies that I've done with them over the years. They always looked out for me. I started stand-up that year, 91, and the rest was history. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so happy to be back here on the train. I remember my days of boogie on here.
I work, baby, I work.